Welcome back to the dopest show you won't get sick of. I'm Spencer, and this is Sasha. I spent most of my 20s in federal prison, but I've been off heroin since April 9, 2010. I've got a lot of stories about the stupid stuff I did to get put in prison, and I've also got a whole lot of stories about the crazy stuff I did in prison. And God forbid you end up in prison, won't make some of the same mistakes I made. I'm like herpes, I keep coming back. This is my second video of the day. If you haven't seen the first one and you watch my channel regularly, just know I did one before this, that way you won't miss it. Sometimes I put out two in a day and one gets missed. But anyway, Hoodrat stuff with my friends. There was some wild stuff I did as a kid. Now, my mom was an excellent mom, raised me with manners, and a lot of time people didn't guess I was into the stuff that I was into. As an honor student, respectful to teachers. When teachers heard that I was some type of drug dealer, they'd be like, oh, no, you got the wrong kid. Not him. That's the most respectful, good student that we've got. And that's because I was respectful, I was good, but I watched these movies like Belly and Blow, and I thought I was going to be the next little George Jung running around with a little empire. I sold weed long before I ever smoked it. Of course, I ended up addicted to pretty much every drug at some point or another. Heroin was the one that, was the big one. There's an actual book, 50 pages of my stories in Dope Sick, that's now a TV show. But anyway, so as a kid, my mom would make sure that I wasn't doing bad stuff the best of her ability. So when I was 14, 15 years old, she would, everybody go to the movies on Friday night. Everybody from Hidden Valley, Cave Spring, and a good bit of Patrick Henry will go to the movies at Tanglewood Mall. They got a movie theater. There's a Barnes & Noble. There's the mall, the movie theaters, you can see it within sight of the mall, but behind the movie theater, there's an old abandoned factory, and we go around the back of there and hang out. People smoke, do stuff they wasn't supposed to be doing and all that. Not advocating a single bit of it. I lost my 20s to federal prison. I've had 44 friends under the age of 35 die from drugs or drug-related violence, but this is a part of my story. So she dropped me off at the movie theater, and she'd give me a 20, and I had to have a receipt when she came back. Well, I'd get the ticket. I'd even buy candy, and I'd have that receipt. And then I'd walk out the back door, and I'd peek around the side of the theater, and I'd see her car sitting there for about 15 minutes, making sure I didn't come out. And once she was gone, then I'd go about it. A lot of the time, there was an alley in between Barnes & Noble and Kroger that's across from the theater. It's a long alley, the length of both stores, probably 150 or so feet. We'd be at the back end of the alley, we'd have somebody on the other end. You can see cops coming a mile away. So if they come from one way, you can run to the other end, but we'd usually run back towards the theater and have stuff stashed behind there. They have a fence up there now, and it's pretty much because of me, I'm pretty certain, because, after I lit that place up for a few years, they actually put a fence up there. So it was typical of us to go to the movie theater, because that's where all the kids were at. And then we'd have 50, 60-year-old people as old as that coming there to buy stuff off of me when I was a kid. Now, at this particular time, I was mostly selling weed, but doing blow. We'd get blow on the weekend. Didn't have as much of a steady source for it. We didn't have cars. We had to have our parents drive us to the theater. So my buddy would have to get it from his friend that was we were 14, 15. He'd get it from this 18-year-old girl that worked at 7-Eleven, who'd get it from her person, but she actually had it to where it was untouched, uncut blow, and we were doing that on the train tracks behind bar. I'll do a video if you're interested in seeing that. But something that was really interesting, it's just a quick story here, but we created our own language. I'm not sure exactly who started it, but we had a language. It's called OB, as in OB. So you put OB after every syllable, and I can speak this like I speak English, and it sounds like something else. And being able to speak this was something that kept us out of trouble a number of times, and this is one of those times that I want to talk about. So for instance, my name is Spencer, but how do you say Spencer in OB? Spobbensauber. I want to go to the movies. Abai, wabant, tabu gabo, tabu thabi, mabu vabis. That is, I want to go to the movies. And we would know this language so we could speak to each other in code when we didn't want to. We'd speak on the phone to each other. Parents don't know what the heck we're saying. We're talking blah, 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 is what it sounds to them. They can't pick out what we're saying, but some people got to where they could speak it so quick and so fluent, like you couldn't. I could speak it good enough, like really good. There's some people that could speak it like it sound like Twister rapping. They could speak it. I know it sounds stupid because it's more syllables, but it was almost like they could speak it quicker than they could speak English because it just all blended together. And if you didn't do it, you couldn't pick it up. You were out of the people could talk in front of you, and it would be like if somebody talked Spanish, you couldn't speak Spanish. So knowing that language, and I mean, it's, there's a million things. Like Sasha's name, just for more context, so it would be Saba Shaba, okay? Brian would be Brabe Aben, because it's two syllables. After every syllable, there's the R. Car is Kabar. So it's a neat little language. So this is my little hood rat stuff with my friends thing. So we went to the theaters, and we're hanging out and everything else, and we're at this time selling weed and stuff like that. But we get like a 8 ball or something like that, and we'd be doing it there. It's no good. Lost my twins to federal prison because of it. But we would do that. And security, we never typically didn't have problems with security, but there was this one idiot, this fat redneck idiot that was super cop that liked to really mess with the kids out there, and he didn't even know about the drug stuff. He just would be, if he saw a kid with that appearance, he'd be all up in their face and everything else. So we end up getting cornered by that guy. We're around the back of the theater, and he tells us, "Come on out." He says, basically, we're going to call each of your parents, come with us. And, it's him and this other guy, and they kind of get real close to us. And we speak in the thing, and I tell my buddy, I said, Labats wabak wabak thabim, aben abad nabi wabe wabak thabe gaber thabis about. It's been a while since it, but that means let's walk with them. We'll figure this on the walk there. So we're walking with them, and they're like, what's that gibberish y'all speak? And we're walking with him, and he says, yeah, your parents going to have to talk to the police. We done already called them. Now, I've got stuff on me. We're a little bit tooted, a little bit geeked out anyway and paranoid. Okay, we're some skinny kids. These some fat rent-a-cops. So as soon as he said they've already called, basically they called the cops, and our parents are going to have to talk to the cops, we got stuff on us. We can't risk them searching us. I would keep 2 pairs of shorts on. So I'd wear like a pair of pants, and then I'd have these pair of pants under my pants with zip-up pockets, and then I would move, my package of pre-bagged like 8s, and I'd move it to my junk, because they can't touch your junk, especially because you're a kid. So we're walking with them, and once he said the thing about the about cops were going to have to meet our parents, I said, Waber gobbling, tabu haba, tabu gabat, abu haber, which means we're going to have to get out of here. It's been a while since I spoke it, okay? Back then I'd speak it really quick. And we basically came up with the plan that we're gonna all take off. I was going to go one way, he's going to go the other way. We're going to cut through different ways, and we're going to meet behind the train tracks around the original spot, but we're going to lead them around the wild goose chase first. We had to circle around the one end. We're going to cut back, then cut through the alley between the one place. Then I was going to go around the other end, and that's how it was going to be. So basically, it was a wobbling, tabu, throbby, and we ran there. The one's chasing me, the one's chasing the other one. Other buddies just running loose. They're chasing after us. We're much quicker. We circle about. We end up getting away from them. We end up seeing, cop cars and everything pull up from the wood line. See, behind the train tracks, there's a hill, and there's houses up there. And, we're lucky one of them didn't see us and call it on us. But we walked behind that tree line all the way up, all the way to the end. We had my friends, parents pick us up from there, and I ended up telling my mom I was going to his house. His parents talked to my mom because his parents were cool, and as long as they talked to my mom, it was all good, but she had to speak to a parent. And it was a close call, but, having our little language, we came up with a plan. Like, if we just try to say, go and we just took off in different directions, each one of us would have been lost. It would have been easier to catch us, but we had a plan on where we were going to meet, how we were going to slip out, how we were going to call. We had cell phones with us. This is back before smartphones. We had flip phones. But I actually had a phone at one point. It's like the first touchscreen. And guess what this touchscreen phone did? Nothing. The only thing it did was it had pictures of the numbers, and you press the numbers, and everybody thought that was the coolest thing. I remember when the first thing came out, the first phone with the camera that I saw, it had the worst service, but we didn't call it a regular set. We called it the camera phone. That's what we called it. That shows you, just in the time I've been alive, how much stuff is involved. But yeah, we could have gotten in trouble there, but we kind of slipped it by the cracks on that when, through this little language. Dabis labatable labang wabage dabit wabi habed, this little language that we had. I'm out of practice with it. I used to be able to speak it really quick. Abba yabas tabu babi abi babble tabu spabik abi rabu labi quabik. Yeah, see, but I spoke it so much that even now, where it's been so long, I can remember it enough to say it a little bit. But there's some people, still adults, still growing up, still in that stuff. I heard this through somebody else the other day. They're still using that language. They used it. People I know have used that to get out of trouble in so many different situations. But it's just a little gibberish thing we used to do. But anyway, that's the second video for the day. I hope you guys liked it. If you haven't seen the first one, go back and check it. If you liked it, if you watched it at this point, press the like button. But if not, that is 11 minutes and 7 seconds. Bamoosh of your life, in which you'll never ever get back, but I truly hope you did. Y'all have a good one.